Hariyam, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. When Swami Vivekananda stood up at the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago and said, "Brothers and sisters of America," it became a historical moment that the world would never forget. He continued to roar out, "Awake, arise, stop not till you reach your goal." Words that will echo all through time. When Martin Luther King stood up and said to all of America, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit together at the table of brotherhood." As Martin Luther King spoke these words, it brought tears to the eyes of hundreds. It became a moment in the pages of history that will never be forgotten. It became a turning point for mankind. Words are extremely powerful, and the way we use words are definitely impactful. Hanumanji is known by many different names: Ram-doot, Atulita Baladama, Anjani Putra, Pavana Sutanama. Many different names, but the name that stands out, the name that he himself uses the most, is Ram-doot, messenger of Ram, ambassador to Ram, one who carries Rama's message. To be able to convey a message so that it touches the hearts is indeed a great skill and a most valuable one. Lack of communication is the downfall of so many relationships, and miscommunication is the cause of so much heartache. The skill is something that, as we cultivate it, we are able to relate to people, understand them, empower them, inspire them. Hanumanji was able to do this. He was able to use his words to be able to succeed in whatever task he was doing. He was able to bring fear into Ravana's mind. Ravana, who was the enemy, who was hurting and destroying, who was manipulating and cunning to make him fear, was success. In that same evening, he was able to bring hope to Sitaji, who had been abducted and felt so lonely and felt so helpless. Through his words, he was able to rekindle in her heart hope that she will be saved. In that same evening, he was able to convince Vibhishan that to follow the path of good, even though it's difficult, certainly leads to rewards far greater than succumbing to that which is easy but what we know to be wrong. The power of speech makes us effective in whatever it is we want to be doing. In today's world, we see it being used in salesmanship. We see it being used in flirting and charming and deceiving. We see it being used in advertising and promoting. But to be able to use it in our everyday lives, to bring harmony and peace into relationships, and into our own mind is a skill that Hanumanji imbibes. I was sitting with someone who was doing a course on writing, learning how to use words in a way that is efficient and impactful. And one of the assignments that they had was to write a story in 4 or 5 words. And I thought to myself, how do you write an entire story in 4 or 5 words? But the assignment went further to say, write the saddest story in 4 or 5 words. And I thought, gosh. And as I scrolled through the website to see people who had already done the assignment and their submissions, I was wowed by people's creativity and brilliance. And I think the one that stood out to me the most was, the saddest story is the smallest coffin ever. And even as I read it, I could feel the sadness. How impactful is our speech, that it can make us feel things. It can make others feel things. How important it is to use it in the right way. It has been said, knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. And then continued to say, knowledge is knowing what to say. Wisdom is knowing when to say it. In whichever way we use it, wisdom is most definitely needed for us to have speech that brings us success, but more importantly, speech that brings us peace and harmony. Are we really thinking about what we say, when we say it, how we say it? Maybe we should be thinking a little bit more about it.